Brought to you by Fasig-Tipton, home of North America's first thoroughbred auction company. No one has a longer pedigree. And TwinSpires.com, featuring TwinSpires TV, TwinSpires Pro, and smartphone wagering with live video.
You know, you could tell when they sprung the latch for the starting gate in the Breeders' Cup Classic that it was game on. They were not going to give it to the favorite, Brian Hernandez Jr., and Fort Larned right to the front, never looking back, and sat the trip that I think many expected Game On Dude to sit. Happy birthday, Brian, as we welcome you in to the Pursuit of the Cup Wrap Show. Aaron Veracruz, pleased to be joined by Gary Mandela. Gary, your thoughts on the Breeders' Cup Classic? $5 million on the line. The top two threw it down in the final furlong.
It turned out to be a match race, which no one expected. Fort Larned and Mucho Macho Man hooked up right out of the gate. Then Fort Larned got the jump on him at the half-mile pole. Mike Smith let him get away a little bit, thinking he was going to save a little bit for the last eighth of a mile. It turned out he could not get that borrowed ground back. Fort Larned held him off. Game On Dude never fired, neither did any of the other contenders. It was those two the last eighth of a mile, and a bob of the heads. Fort Larned wins by a head.
Let's go back in time. Give you a look at the field for the Breeders' Cup Classic, the Saturday feature, the finale on the race card. Top to bottom, Game On Dude right in the middle. Many opting for Flat Out, Fort Larned, Richard's Kid, Ron the Greek, the Macho Man, To Honor and Serve, Bill Mott looking for a classic sweep, Mike Smith looking for a classic sweep. Let's go back in time and hear from Trevor Denman.
And away they go. They all appear to break well. Alpha along the inside, sent for the lead. Fort Larned in the white cap. Game On Dude going to tuck in right behind the leaders. Handsome Mike is in the vanguard too. Now here's Mucho Macho Man, one from the outside. To Honor and Serve is going to be caught about 5 wide. They're all lining up on the lead here. Nonios is racing in right behind them. Game On Dude trying to come out to off that inside rail. Behind that comes Brilliant Speed. Then back to Flat Out, who's giving them 7-length start. A big gap of 5 back to Ron the Greek. Pool Play is racing behind that, and Richard's Kid is last early. Mucho Macho Man, and now Game On Dude can't go on. Game On Dude not going on. Flat Out is coming after them in the center, but it is Fort Larned digging deep. He's trying to hold on. Fort Larned along the inside. Mucho Macho Man right up alongside of him. What a thriller in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Fort Larned digs deep. Mucho Macho Man, it's nose and nose to the wire. Fort Larned has won it. That move on the far turn, the deciding factor. Fort Larned and Brian.
Janice Witham, homebred colt by E. Dubai. Ian Wilkes, high fives all around. And again, Brian Hernandez Jr. in the saddle. Gary, unfortunate that one of the two had to lose. I thought they both ran super.
They absolutely did, and that neck victory by Fort Larned, that is probably the distance between an Eclipse Award for one of these two colts. With Game On Dude not firing, both these horses had tremendous years. Either one of them wins, they probably get the Eclipse Award. It's going to fall to Fort Larned, I would believe.
Racing's newest millionaire, Fort Larned, $20.80 for a $2 win wager. The birthday boy at the mic, Brian Hernandez Jr.
This is huge, just for Mrs. Whittam and Ian to give us the chance on this horse and sticking with us throughout the whole year. And they've always had confidence in us, and just like we've had confidence in the horse, and I just got to thank them to the world and back for giving me this chance. It's great. They've been so great to us over the years, and they're sticking by us, and it's great to win for people like them, and especially for the Whittams. They've been so good for the game, and they keep just putting out good horses and giving us the chances. Thank them.
Is cake really going to do it? I mean, you know, is that the icing on the cake? I mean, that's better than icing. That's better than ice cream. I don't know how many candles. I really don't care. You're a Breeders' Cup Classic winner.
It's an amazing feeling, and let's attribute that to Ian Wilkes as well. What a campaign he put together for this horse. Slow, small races to start with. Didn't run him at grade 1 every step of the way. Gave him a chance to build his confidence, and that all comes to fruition right here at Santa Anita with a neck victory over Mucho Macho Man for $5 million.
Two hard-working ladies sitting inside, Zoe Cadman, Kate and Bradar. Ladies, your thoughts on the Breeders' Cup Classic victory by Fort Larned?
Well, you know, all the planning, all the preparation, all the handicapping, and then they open the gates, it's out the window. Game on Dude, not on the lead. None of the horses I expected to be on the lead. I didn't expect Fort Larned to be on the lead, and I never expected it to quite pan out the way it did. But you can't take anything away from the winner. He made every pole, and at the end, I did think Mucho Macho Man had opportunity to get by him if he was good enough. He just wasn't today.
He just wasn't today. He tried to go by him. Mike Smith, a very, very good spot. Mike goes to the left-handed. You see Brian Hernandez go to the left hand. Many people out there will not really know Brian as a household name. He is a very, very strong finisher, and you're going to see him here. Mike Smith, one of the strongest in the game. When a horse won't respond to Mike left-handed, he goes back to right. He's done. He is absolutely done and cooked. Fort Larned takes the classic with the birthday boy, Brian Hernandez. My only question is, we saw the break. To me, Game On Dude, once he got out of the melee, he had every chance to go to the lead. I want to know why Bejarano took him back. All year long, the plan has been go to the lead, go to the lead. It
was a strange turn of events, but it's wonderful to see Kentucky-based Ian Wilkes get the win. And, Aaron, it has been a tough year in some respects for Mike Smith. Second in the Triple Crown and second in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Still kind of hard to feel for Mike Smith, considering he got a Ladies Classic victory yesterday aboard Royal Delta in an unconventional fashion for her, right to the front, never looking back. We saw wire-to-wire wins in the Ladies Classic and the Breeders' Cup Classic. It tells you what kind of track we have out here at the Great Race.
That's right. And those weren't the only races that were won on the front end today.
Also, on the card, this was truly a championship card. I mean, we saw perhaps crowns handed out all across the races on Saturday. Let's take you to the field for the Grey Goose Breeders' Cup Juvenile Grade 1 Shanghai Bobby, looking to stay unbeaten, 4 for 4 coming in, and Rosie Napravnik in the saddle. Let's go to the videotape.
In between those two, he's had enough. The grey, Capo Bastoni, Extreme Outside, Power Broker, a wall of horses. He's had enough just in front. Here's Shanghai Bobby coming back. Shanghai Bobby came back remarkably, and Shanghai Bobby, a tenacious all hot.
It was a strange race. I thought Shanghai Bobby was going to win by 5, and then a furlong later, I thought Shanghai Bobby was going to finish 5th. What went on in the stretch run there, Gary?
When you watch the replay of this closely, you'll see something that Rosie Napravnik talked about in the press conference, which was when Shanghai Bobby lost his pace setter at the 3/8 pole, this horse threw his ears forward, started gawking at the grandstand, and started waiting on other horses. And she actually was very lucky that He's Had Enough made a challenge right next to her, as opposed to a Drosselmeyer move where a horse might have been in the 7 or 8 path, because he might not have seen him and had to re-rally at that point. This is a very talented horse with a very bright future that still isn't even thinking the game at an A level yet. And how good is he going to be when he gets to be just a little bit smarter than what he is, and he stops fooling around like he did today from the quarter pole to the 8th pole?
Give a lot of credit to the girl power in the saddle as well. She came up big time in a big race. Let's hear from Rosie.
People ask me what my biggest race I want to win or what my goals are, and really this is all part of the goal, is to be on this kind of level, riding horses for such connections as Starlight Racing Partners and Coolmore Stud and Todd Pletcher, and you know, that's just to find the right horse. Shanghai Bobby is he's such a talented horse. He's a really cool horse to be around, and you know, that's all just part of what my dream has been, is to be able to ride this type of athlete and compete in the World Championship. So it's couldn't be a better feeling.
Sky's the limit. Unbeaten, tested, and passing that test today in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. The 2-year-old champion, I'm calling it right now, Shanghai Bobby, a perfect 5 for 5 when the dust settles on Breeders' Cup Saturday. When we return here on the Pursuit of the Cup wrap show, we'll cut back in distance and feel the need for speed. You play Maverick, I'll be Goose. How's that sound? We'll be quick to the break for the Breeders' Cup Sprint.